Welcome back to the Car Moms YouTube channel. Today we are doing driving impressions of a 2022 Nissan Pathfinder. The Pathfinder got redesigned for 2022. Not only did it get a new interior and exterior, it also got a new transmission, which is very exciting. They changed from the CVT to a 9-speed automatic transmission, which I think was a good call because I'm not really a CVT kind of girly, especially when they put it with a 6-cylinder engine. So like if you're comparing this drive to other cars, like the Subaru Ascent, for example, has a CVT transmission but a 4-cylinder. I feel like that car performed better than the previous model this Pathfinder did. So anyway, it's a 3.5 liter V6. It's about 284 horsepower. We are just going to be driving it around town. I'm not much of a performance-based driver, so I'm just going to be talking about it like, I don't know, the average regular mom picking up carpool would think of the vehicle. Okay, so we are just driving out and about. As far as the acceleration on the car goes, I do think it has some decent acceleration from 0 to 60. However, I feel like it's pretty underpowered for anything like 60 to 75 to 80 miles per hour, depending on how fast you're driving. I've just noticed, like when I've been on the highway and I'm going 65 miles an hour, I feel like I have to work really hard, or the car has to work really hard to get to like 75 miles per hour. So I do feel like I'm having some like underperformance there. But I think off the bat, like when you're just like going from a low speeds to a higher speeds, you definitely get some decent acceleration. It just kind of struggles when you get up into some of those higher RPMs. I think the braking is actually really great. Definitely feels smooth, it feels responsive, it's not too jerky, it's not too touchy, so I do like the braking. I feel as though the handling does a pretty good job as well. I feel like it's kind of heavy in the front end, heavy in my hands, making it pretty easy to maneuver. This isn't, I mean, it's a mid-size SUV, so it's not like overly large, and it doesn't feel overly large when I'm driving it. It feels like I'm driving the exact size of the car that it is, so I like that. It's funny, I was really expecting, I think, a little bit quieter of a cabin. A lot of the reviews that I read were commenting on how quiet they felt the cabin was. I do not feel like it's...
We've been in quieter.
I don't feel like it's overly quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not distracting by any means, but I was like, oh wow, like, I bet I'm gonna be able to hear a pin drop. And I'm like, no, I can still hear the highway.
Yeah.
So just something to note there. Something else I'm really appreciating about the Pathfinder is just the standard crash prevention technology that's on them. I really pay attention to what manufacturers like prioritize some of the safety features on. I don't like when manufacturers put a giant price wall in between the life-saving crash prevention safety features, and especially as the car mom, I actually just did a whole thing on how crash ratings actually don't really matter to us women because they don't crash us on our body. So we actually don't know how our vehicles perform in crashes. So I've started to give a lot less care to those and a lot more care to the actual technology that helps prevent the crashes in the first place. So what's great about the Pathfinder is every Pathfinder gets blind spot, which is pretty standard now these days. But what I liked is it also gets rear emergency braking and frontal collision mitigation with braking included as well. So I like when things not only warn you about things happening, but will actually brake the vehicle in certain situations. I think that really just like takes the safety to the next level. So I was really excited to see that. I always like to talk about the visibility, especially when you talk about getting car seats and things in there. With the second row, especially with the captain's chairs, like obviously my visibility is fine, even though I do have 2 big rear-facing car seats, it's not affecting my visibility. However, with there being 3 seats in the third row, if you were to have someone in that middle seat, or really anyone in the third row, I think it would start to affect your visibility pretty dramatically. As far as my comfort's concerned, the vehicle is pretty comfortable. I definitely like the seats. I like all the different ways I can adjust the seats. I think they're pretty firm. I actually kind of prefer a firmer seat though. I don't always like when I like feel like I'm like sunk into the car.
They're firm, but they're not like hugging you.
Yeah, I think I've got like, I mean, my arms feel good right here on either side of my headrest. My head clearance is great too. I've got good, like I call it like mom bun clearance. Like if I were to throw my hair in a mom bun, it wouldn't be squished. I don't like squish bun syndrome. Not really for me. As far as, let's kind of do a little bit of a brake test up here. I just kind of want to slam on the brakes, if you will. We'll get a little bit more acceleration. Yeah, I mean, the acceleration's not bad. Like I said, I've just really noticed some lagging when I get into some of those higher RPMs. Let's do a little bit of a brake check right here. Betsy was not ready. I said we were doing a brake check.
I know.
Yeah, the brakes are smooth. People were also complaining about like how the transmission does on a downshift. I think it's fine. I mean, I'm not noticing it, but again, I'm not like your like biggest performance driver kind of girly. Okay, so if we talk about fuel economy, Nissan is claiming 21 city, 27 highway. I can tell you I've been doing like a combo of city highway driving and I'm getting 19.9. So I'm like not really in the 20s yet. I have been doing a little bit more city driving today, but pretty consistent going in between both. So just trying to give you an idea of where I'm at. But it does come in front wheel drive and all wheel drive, which we love to see. As far as the car seat setup is concerned, I talked about this on my tour, so if you haven't seen my full tour, definitely check it out. And I've actually done a tour of the bench seat and the captain's chairs. With the captain's chairs, which is the one I'm doing, the car seat setup is pretty good. We've got lower anchors in both outboard seats in the second row, lower anchors behind the driver in the third row, tether anchors in all 5 seating positions, which I really do appreciate when they put tether anchors in all the seating positions, because you need a tether anchor for a forward-facing car seat. So if we think about like a huge competitor of this vehicle being the Telluride and the Palisade, they don't put tether anchors in all seating positions in the third row. So that gets actually a little difficult when you're talking about multiple car seats. However, for as good as the car seat setup is, this car is a little bit smaller than those vehicles, so it will be a little bit tighter. I feel like, and I don't really pay attention to like the specs on the car, and like maybe I should pay attention, but I'm just all about like how I feel and how my family feels. I feel like I have a lot more room in my Palisade than I do in the Pathfinder. And I'm currently driving a Palisade. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
It just, and it's not even like space here or space with the car seats. It's just like the overall cabin space feels a little bit, I mean, it is a little bit smaller. The trunk's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
So while the car seat setup is good, better, I still can't say I would want to fit 4 car seats in here, but you actually could, whereas in the other cars you could not. So as far as like the usability of the infotainment system and some of the controls, like the audio and the climate control, I actually do find that it's pretty user-friendly. I'm pretty impressed. I really appreciate when a manufacturer pulls some buttons out and keeps some buttons in the display but does it in an organized way. So I like that all my climate control is pulled out. I like that everything else is inside the screen. I do wish, and I said this in my tour of it, I do wish the screen was just tilted a little bit towards me, because I am finding that like it's a little difficult for me to like reach all the way across the screen. If it was just tilted just even slightly, I think I would have some better visibility. It's got a great heads-up display system though, which is amazing. I love heads-up display. Hopefully you guys like this like little driving impressions video. Let us know what else you want to see when it comes to all things driving impressions, what you want us to talk about. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.